Hey guys, Steve here. As part of this Colorado Sessions project to attempt to visit every craft brewery in Colorado and make some music inspired by that journey, I wanted to share with you some of the previous experiences that I've had performing at breweries and some of the lessons learned. A couple years ago, my friend Andy and I traveled to Leadville, Colorado for a performance I had booked at a brewery there. Now, Leadville is this really neat little town situated right in the Sawatch Mountains by the Arkansas River, at the head of the Arkansas River, and it's overshadowed by the beautiful Mount Massive. And we went to the brewery, 2 Mile Brewing there. We interviewed the brewer, Sean, about what it was like to open up a brewery right as COVID hit and how he survived the pandemic and managed to keep his brewery going. And then I was to perform, and the weather wasn't great, so I set up a tent outside, and then the weather got bad. It just started raining. And we almost called the whole thing off. We almost bagged it because everyone's inside, and I'm outside by myself in the rain. But I learned an important lesson on that trip. A friend of mine, Tim, and his buddies were down in Salida, Colorado, and they drove all the way up to Leadville because they wanted to see me perform. And so I started performing just for the three of them, and then eventually, kind of drew everybody outside, or drew a lot of people outside, and then the sun eventually came out, and by the end we had a nice little show. So I really learned that you can't give up. You got to try everything you can. If you get to a performance and something goes wrong, as it quite often does, that you just got to give it your best shot. And if you fail, you fail. But if you don't, sometimes you end up with a nice little experience. So what I wanted to show you was the music video that we created from that show. Andy took a bunch of footage with his cell phone, and then I took an old song that I had written on a previous tour from Colorado, where I drove all the way to Traverse City, and I gave myself a project of writing a song on this trip. And I wrote a song that I called Steal This Song. So I made an instrumental version of that song as the background music. And then it just so happened that my son, who was just beginning his journey toward becoming a photographer and videographer, happened to be in the Leadville area that same weekend, testing out his drone and learning how to do video with a drone. And so I asked him, could I use his drone footage as the B-roll? And he agreed. So I ended up putting together a little music video that kind of tells the story of starting in the rain and then eventually the sun coming out and us having this nice little concert. And it's a lesson that I have really taken to heart. And very recently, I thought about that and drew upon that lesson as I was at a performance and things weren't going right. And I remembered, I said, this is like Leadville. I have to just power through this. It's going to work out. So it's a great lesson that I learned. It's a wonderful experience. 2 Mile Brewing, great little brewery. We had a fantastic time. And this is it. So this is the 2 Mile Brewing show that I did in Leadville, set to the song Steal This Song, with footage provided by my son, who I want to give a shout out to and a plug. He now is a professional photographer, videographer, and has a company up in Denver called Stone's Throw Productions. So that all worked out very well as well. So it's like I say, it's a good lesson to learn about just trying to be resilient and give it a try. So here it is, without further ado.